if I saw another day, only to scream into the night. Nothing ever tries to change, even if I want to realize. 'Cause I've been sitting here, same old ways, taking off without the same mistake. Darling, will you go away? It won't be as simple for you.
Yo, guys, it's Old Man G here, back again. I'm joined by Yassir, and this is going to be quite a nice, hopefully relaxed show where we basically discuss the best, what we think anyways, the best Manchester United starting 11. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio, follow us on Twitter and X, smash the notification button for latest Manchester United news. There are obviously a few shows coming up. We're going to be doing a United transfer deadline day or general deadline day video this coming Monday. And like I said, I am hoping to get the Red Devil Live Studio podcast back. It would be around this time, 9 o'clock. So if you are interested, it will be talking about just covering all the five major European leagues. If you want to come on and speak about your team and what's going on in the Bundesliga, La Liga, and so on, DM me, get involved, and we'll have a good show. Anyway, pleasantries aside, Yassir, bro, how you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me on, man. Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure with you, man.
No problem, man. Before we get into the show, Yassir, and maybe turn up your mic a little bit because you sound a bit quiet. Just talk a bit about, like you said, you started a new channel. Like, is it United based? Like, just share with the audience.
Yeah. I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah. So I started my channel. It's called YUFC. It has a Man United bias to it, but I generally are going to talk about everything football. So yeah, guys, go ahead and check it out. I dropped a video. I'll be dropping a video today that I recorded with I don't know people know YSK. Me and YSK talked about transfers and stuff like that. So yeah, go ahead and check it out, guys. You know, we love you guys' support, man, and yeah.
Cool. Right, like I said, guys, listen, make sure you go in and check in Yassir's channel, guys. Thanks to everyone who's joining into the panel as well. Shout out to Niall, big up, guys. Hope you're all doing well. Who's also a member, and guys, if you want to support the channel, become a member of the channel. It goes a long way. I'll be posting a lot of membership content in the next couple of days. A lot of versus videos, as well as some member hangout and Q&As as well. So stay tuned for that membership content. Click the join button below. It goes a long way. Mo Wada, long time no see, bro. That intro is fire. Thanks, bro. I need to change the intro after that, but yeah, maybe get a new an outro. So that's the thing I'm working on, but finding a good one. That's the key. Finding a good outro, man. And here we go. Thank you, man. Thank you, now. So let's basically get into it, Yassir, man. Obviously, this is basically, you see the formation generated to your right. We're gonna be discussing like what we think the best. Well, I guess formation, obviously starting 11 are the key things here, really. Is that Lucas Life? Big up, man. So, you know, obviously this is right now, at least we have Ragnick as obviously the coach. We have Ragnick's system. So given his system, and it looks like he's gone back to 4-3-3. Personally, I think our best system that I've seen United play has actually been the diamond personally. But if we just start first and foremost with like, what system do you think is the best system to play for our best players, and then we'll go on to which players think we should fit the position. So, what do you think is the best formation? Do you think, Yassir?
You know, I like, my personal favorite is a 4-3-3, but I do understand when you say the diamond formation is best for us. I just I mean I just want to see us play with wingers, you know. I feel like we have too many wingers, and sometimes with a diamond it doesn't, you know, you miss out on a winger, probably have to play a winger like a inside forward like Greenwood or Rashford up top, and I just don't, especially with Rashford, I just don't like to see him in that position. I rather have him on the left wing. So yeah, 4-3 for me. I mean, we can also, you know, we're probably going to be talking about the position and everything, but you can also like among with a 4-3, you can also mess around with in terms of the personnel as well. So I prefer the 4-3.
Narcan says big up, Luca fan, and Danny says I own Lassie Laid on Twitter. I don't, I don't know what beef you have, Yasir, with Danny, but there, that's about to you.
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
don't know. I don't know.
This is the figure being a Twitter personality. So what would you say? So you'd say you go with the diamond then as well?
No, no, I prefer the 4-3.
Free.
I just with the diamond, you know, like you just
Mm,
don't play with enough wingers, you know.
mm,
It just doesn't, you know, you play with too much.
fine,
You play too up top, and I don't like that.
fine. Okay. So we'll go with four. We'll go with obviously 4-3-3 in this formation. I was at 4-3-3-B. Four. Well, I was going to say four. Looking at it, like it's probably going to be 4-3-3, 4-3-3-D. Let's have a look. We don't really play with. I mean, we kind of do play that. If you think about it, you know,
Like our four three
we
three
kind
is
of. This is actually
basically,
how we play with 4-3
yeah.
because we don't really play with it unless you're playing Matic. We don't actually really play with a central defensive midfielder.
Technically, our 4-3-3 is basically a 4-2-3-1.
Mm,
That's basically, but you know, it's you know, tomatoes, you know.
mm,
To be honest, we play with a two, technically a two holding players, you know, a two, and then we play with one.
mm,
Um, but I don't know. Lately, Bruno has been playing as an eight as well, so
mm,
yeah, that's one thing I do kind of like about Ragnick is like
mm,
his flexibility in terms of like how he can change the shape and change the
mm,
tactics. I like that a lot.
mm,
Sometimes, you know, with the previous manager, one of the main problems was that he was very rigid,
mm,
and he literally played with one formation, one way of playing, and that's it. And we
mm,
just really barely changed it up.
mm.
Yeah.
No, fair enough, bro. So shout out to EFC, yo man. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Thank you for joining into this live. It's going to be very chilled, very laid back, just discussing. So get involved in anything should be in the formation. Fred hasn't been playing that deep recently. He's almost as high as a striker, and this is what I'm saying. That's why if you look at the formation I've got, I've almost got us playing with two CMs and one cam,
Yeah.
because that's effectively what we play. We don't really play, in my opinion, with a DM unless we're playing with Matic. And I mean, well, I guess we can have a debate as to whether or not our best
It
situation is with
depends.
Matic
Like
there. But
Red
I
Devil, it
think
depends
go
though.
on,
It
go
because
on,
it
Yasir.
depends on like when Matic plays so much different than
Mm,
Fred and McTominay.
mm,
If when we play with McFred, they it seems like sometimes what they do is like they kind of interchange
yeah.
amongst themselves. Where like you sometimes when you see McTominay moving up and dribbling with the ball or pushing up the ball, like
Mm,
then you have Fred, then he will drop deep and like kind of like hold that position and
mm,
vice versa.
mm,
And then there was a time where I believe was it yeah, but then like you said, it's like when Matic is playing, Matic generally plays like a DM. That's what he
mm,
is. Like he does.
mm,
Matic never plays like a center midfielder, etc. Matic plays solely like a DM. He
mm,
sits there. He you know, drives from midfield, and at times he you know, he's like the center back will be split in a split, and he will like drop into the center back position as well. So
mm,
he is like a quintessential like DM. He's like a
mm,
DM. But the other
mm,
two, like we said, are more box to box players, to be honest.
mm. Um, C says United need to play Greenwood and Cavani up top. I mean, that obviously would mean that United would be playing with in a two and would play without wingers. I mean, that's a debate in of itself, I guess. So like I said, you have the diamond with the 4-3-3. You have the 4-2-2-2, which is what ideally Ragnick's system would be. And I'm sure I can do an update and say that an update come the summer, depending on the players that we sign, and maybe Ragnick will get players that he can he can use to do his 4-2-2 formation. But given the players that we have, it just looks like 4-3-3 is the best thing. Would you agree, Yasir?
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree.
S says, serious question: are United the biggest fans club in Europe right now? Spurs doesn't count. Based on like what you mean? Like you mean in currently? Yeah, like based on what exactly? What specifically about it? Just what specifically is it that bantery? So like you could make an argument that Juventus, Barcelona, Arsenal, there are various other things. Like what would you base it on?
Yeah, PSG in the Champions League.
Yeah, well, I mean PSG. Yeah, that's another thing. So it's that at the end of the day, like PSG, as you could set a good example is that it's like if PSG get knocked out to Real Madrid, they'd have in the round of 16. Efak says Greenwood is selfish. I miss Anthony Martial already. Yeah, he's gone to Sevilla and hope he does well.
I agree.
Based on expectation compared to how they're performing, I mean, well, again, you can make an argument that I'm sure people expect Juventus to have performed better than they're playing. PSG likewise, so it really just depends on like what the expectation is, because I don't think any United fan going into the season expected United to win the Champions League. Maybe the expectation was to compete for the Premier League. So based on that, definitely. But I guess you can make an argument that other teams on Europe that have higher expectations as well. For example, would you agree, Yossi?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, let's be honest. No, Barcelona fans didn't expect them to be in the position they're in right now.
Barcelona are going through. Yeah, as an outside fan, you can say that. But what about their fans? I don't know many Barcelona Juve fans that are saying that. Oh yeah, our team is in a transition, so therefore we're happy to finish outside of top four. I don't see, Barcelona fans were not like, oh yeah, we're happy that we're playing in the Europa League, or no, come on, that's Juve. None of those fan bases are happy with those things. They still expect a degree of a success given the investment that they've put into squads relative to the rest of the league. So
yeah, and then
go on, Yasser.
No, with the whole Juve thing, let's be honest. Juve won 9 Serie A Scudettos in a row. I mean, to say that Juve are going into a transitional season, as true as that might be, I mean, what competition other than say Inter Milan that lost his manager, that lost his striker, that lost his right back? Who, I mean, let's be honest here, guys.
You also got to understand that, like, a lot of people, the problem with a lot of people is that like, they don't seem to understand like that the majority of the Serie A La Liga team do not spend nowhere near as much as like Juventus, Barcelona, Real Madrid do, etc. Yes, United do spend a lot of money, but the reality is that a lot of other teams in the league also do. People forget that this transfer window, Arsenal spent the most. Followed by City and then Manchester United. So and then even Villa. So the spending difference between a lot of the teams in the Premier League is not that different. Whereas if you look at Serie A and Liga, there's a massive spending difference between the top teams in or a few teams in Serie A and the Bundesliga and then the others. So even though those top teams may be going through transition seasons, they should still be outperforming a lot of the smaller teams that can barely even touch their wage bill, So that's.
I mean, you're talking about, like, you just look at the recent transfers of Juve. Chiesa they finalized the Chiesa deal this summer. They signed Locatelli. They signed now the Dusan Fadovic, and pretty much every single talent that the Serie A produces pretty much gets signed by Juve. So, I mean, and let's be honest, the reason why Barcelona and Juve, because I do agree they're going into a transitional period. The reason why they're going into it is because of self-inflicted. They just mismanaged. There was a mismanagement in both of those clubs, and more so Barcelona than Juve. But still, I mean, let's not pretend that Barcelona and Real Madrid are. I mean, Barcelona and Juve, don't being a transitional season is like an excuse that even not even their fans will even accept. So, yeah.
Well, EFAC says no, it isn't. Our squad is. I agree. Our squad is very much overrated. We have the weapons that can't play together. Yes, you spent the most wins in Premier for nothing. Yeah, and PSG, they're the biggest spending Champions League club, have not won the Champions League. Like,
I mean, like, let's be honest. Look at Barcelona. They spend so much money on Coutinho,
yeah,
Griezmann, and
exactly.
Dembele, and it looks like all three of them are probably going to leave. So, I
Yeah,
mean, so
spending not like I've never understood the argument that spending tons of money, automatically means that you're sort of like I don't quite understand that. Like, if you spend a lot of money, therefore you should win the league and you should win the Champions League. So, what was PSG's excuse losing to the league to Monaco last season then? Sorry, not in Monaco, it was Lille.
Lille, yeah,
Why haven't the teams that spent the most, if you think about it as well, why haven't the teams that spent the most money in Europe been winning the Champions League?
yeah,
Bayern don't spend that much money. Liverpool didn't spend that much money. So, like, it's not like, if we're going to have a serious conversation about it, like, it's not just about the money you spend, but it's about the players that you get. It's the recruitment. It's the actual it's the structure of how the club is actually run to build long success. So I will always respect a club like Bayern Munich that scout well, but also build for future success, and spend intelligently, because they're a well-run club. Throw all the money that you want on something, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. Villa go crazy every winter. They can push for Europe very soon. Exactly. I mean, you look at Newcastle as well. Newcastle are going mad as well. Newcastle are going very mad. Kango says it's about structure the club, not about spending. Of course, we can win the league with money, but it's exactly. Barcelona actually won trophies. When was the last time I was wondering? I think it was 2015. Was it the last Europa League or something? And yes,
Messi tax.
Yeah, you could also make the excuse that they also had one of the best players, if not the best player in world football, Lionel Messi. And you can see the fact that now that Messi is gone, how let's make an argument. Would Messi, if Barcelona didn't have Messi, would they have won the trophies that they won at Barca during that period?
No. That the simple answer is no.
That's an argument, because as soon as he goes, they fall apart. Anyway, let's I'll come back to comments in a second, so that we can focus on the things. So we've gone for 4-3-3. Best United 11. So okay, so Yasser. So in terms of going in goal, are we saying David De Gea?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
I mean, there's a debate on Twitter, but I don't see it. So David De Gea.
It looks like what's his? Let me get this. De Gea, come on. There we go. So David De Gea in goal. I don't think that's really any surprise to anyone. I think that Dean Henderson is probably going to leave. I didn't quite understand why. I didn't actually quite understand why we. It's just Dean Henderson is a solid keeper, and I didn't quite understand why we just decided, you know what, let's.
Red Devil.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I genuinely believed that in the beginning of this season, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was going to move away from David De Gea. And the only reason that didn't happen was Dean Henderson, unluckily, got COVID. I believe Dean Henderson would have been our starting goalkeeper this season, but he got COVID, and David De Gea, I don't know what he did this summer, but he just came back focused, and he's, without a shadow of a doubt, our best player this season.
No, I agree. But let's be real, David De Gea has been United's best player for quite a few seasons, and that basically sums up Manchester United to a T. It's like, having your goalkeeper as your best player, is it just epitomizes just what the issues for me at Manchester United, and they are issues, a lot of issues. Let's get into the centre backs now. I'm going to put my thing in, but let me know what you think. For me, from the team that we have, Raphael Varane is obviously going to be there, and for me, it's Eric Bailly. Now, do you have any disagreements with that, Yasir, or do you
I
think?
do.
Okay,
I
what's your
love Buddy.
disagreement?
I
Mm,
love Buddy. I love
mm,
him. I love him to bits.
mm.
If I could guarantee, and this is impossible. If I could get guaranteed that everybody doesn't is going to be fit for majority of the games, then yeah, I have no problem with the center back pairing. But I just don't have faith that he will be, and I generally believe that would be very unfair to Victor Lindelof, who I believe is our best in terms of like overall performance, has been our best center back. And I genuinely believe that Victor Lindelof has been our best center back this season. So I will I'll have Lindelof and Varane
Okay.
personally, because I mean everybody, you just is it's the reliability. He's a
The
yeah,
thing is, people say that, but like I always tell people that the last time Eric Bay was injured was December 2020. So
true.
he was fit, and so I always give people something like, okay, that's fine, but he's been available all the time from January 2021. So fair enough, if he was injured, obviously away to AFCON, that's one thing. But he had availability with no injuries for all of last year. So what was the excuse for him, especially because he was on the bench? What was the excuse for him not being picked?
Yeah,
Because
fair
if
enough.
someone is available on
Yeah,
the bench, they should be that you're telling me that they're fit to be picked. What was the reason to keep on playing Harry Maguire,
and Lindelof.
Lindelof, to say, for example, and on top of that, when those two players actually, I mean, Maguire, I think, was injured. Maguire was injured for a few, I think it's 2 months before the Europa League. He was out. Then he became injured again two times at the beginning of this season. Lindelof was out of a back injury as well. So I don't necessarily disagree that Lindelof shouldn't go over Bailly, but my thing is that it's like I don't get it when he's fit and available. Why he doesn't start then?
Yeah,
When I
yeah,
think that for
fair
me,
enough. Yeah,
his recovery pace is better than Lindelof's. His aerial ability is better than Lindelof's. His tackling is better than Lindelof's. He rarely gets bullied off the ball, like I've seen Lindelof do. I think Lindelof's passing distribution is a bit better than Eric Bailly's. So he's a progressive ball playing there. But to be honest, a progressive baller in this team right now, I don't think works because we don't have a ball carrying CDM. So if we had a ball carrying CDM, I'd have no problem with Lindelof being in this team. But because we don't, I feel that we need a defender, especially because we're playing with two central midfielders and a cam and no DM. We're gonna need a defensive partnership that has got semi decent recovery pace and that can potentially play a higher line to push the other team up. Am I
yeah.
making sense?
No, 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 100%. I mean,
Mm,
I said I get it because
mm,
a fit Bailly is a phenomenal center back,
mm,
but I just don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe with Bailly, I've just been burnt too many times with this guy,
mm,
and I just Lindelof is most of the time he's fit and he's
mm,
ready to go, and
mm,
yeah, I value availability more than
mm,
anything. So
mm. No, fair enough. Okay, like I said, I've got no. I mean, and well, actually, chat. Let us know what you think. Varane and Lindelof, or Varane and Bailly. We'll give it to you. What do you guys think? Varane or Lindelof, or Varane or Bailly? Like I said, I do agree with availability. I just think that Eric Bailly gets a lot more. I just think that people scrutinize his injury record a lot more than they do other players. Like Pogba's a good example. Pogba's been injured since the beginning of October, and he's still not back. Yet people want him to sign a 500k week contract, and it's the same thing happened last season. But everyone ignores that because he has a few good world class performances in the United top. At the very
Yeah,
least speaking,
yeah,
like so. A guy who's only available for basically has only been available for half of a season in the last 3 seasons because of injuries deserves 500k. It bugs my mind. But let me quickly go into the comments. Shout out to Noah Hutchinson. Hello, how are you doing? Gong says David De Gea did nothing. It's a mentality. You don't just lose ability. He's stable now, and that's fair. That is
yeah.
fair. I'll give it
I
that.
agree.
Clark said Varane and by a partnership. CB Varane by a partnership. Lindelof. So CB Varane by a partnership. Lindelof and Varane. Does that saying you want Lindelof and Varane? Now Varane has been playing well. Shout out to Rasmus. I hope you're doing well, buddy. Maguire has had some terrible games, but he's better than all of our CBs other than Varane. I'm not sure whether I agree with you that take, Mo. I'm not saying Maguire is total garbage, but he's had a lot of. It's very difficult for me to say that he's better than Bay or even Lindelof.
It's with Maguire, I feel like people need to sometimes they don't sometimes people see football very differently. The thing I don't like about Maguire is okay, I understand he doesn't have pace. Let's just put that to the side. We don't
Yeah.
even have to argue with that. But it's like at times it's like he it's a panic with Maguire. There's a sense of panic that he caused in our center in our defense when the other team is attacking us and especially with corners and stuff like that. You will see like Maguire like marking his own man. You
Yeah,
will
I've
see
seen that.
him like
I've
getting
seen
in the
that.
way of his own teammates and stuff like that,
I've seen
and
that.
him not reacting like his reaction and reading the danger. At times you're like, Maguire, what are you doing? Why are you not reading this? Why are you
Yeah,
not closing this down or blocking? That's my problem with Maguire.
yeah,
It's like at times you're like you just don't understand like in terms of the defensive mentality.
yeah,
Sometimes he gets like it's a lack of concentration,
yeah.
and he does it too much
Yeah.
for
I
me.
don't know what
So
it is because I would agree with Mo like last season, so like he had issues, and we thought the Lindelof thing and the McTominay thing as a problem, but like he was quite solid. And at the Euros, he was very good, but then at the Euros, United England played a sort of a similar thing, a 4-2 kind of 3-1, but they played with like Declan Rice and Calvin Phillips in the midfield. So perhaps if we had a proper DM, ball carrying DM, then maybe it would work. But right now
yeah,
we're not playing with one of those players. And even despite that, I don't know whether it's because of his injury. When he came back from his injury, especially thrown against Leicester, he was bad. Okay, I can give him the injury excuse coming back. Although again, Eric Bailly was available, wasn't injured. Why we didn't pick him, who had actually been in training? Oh, I have no idea for me, but fine. Liverpool, Liverpool, I cannot excuse. I cannot excuse you being a centre back. And probably this is also one of my Lindelof bias as well. It's like I can't excuse what happened against Liverpool, losing 5-0 at Old Trafford, and yours and some of the defensive, and I think you cost us potentially 3 goals. I can't excuse
it's
that.
right there.
I just can't.
You know what
Go
it
on.
is? It's like at time, he's let's put the captaincy to one side, but it's like at times he plays like a player that doesn't know what he's doing.
Mm,
And that makes no sense to me. It's like
mm,
as a center back, you need to understand what you're doing at all times because you're the
mm,
center back. You need to not only do you need to understand what you're doing, he's supposed to be that guy that directs his back line, that directs people in front of him. It's like and directs them, orchestrates them. And at times, you just sees him, he looks lost.
mm,
I mean, there's like too many times. It's like, how do you not know how to play your position?
mm,
That's
mm,
the problem I have with him. Because ideally, you look at him, he's big, he's strong, he wins
mm,
headers. Like I would give him that. He wins
mm,
headers, especially in our own and in our own corners. But it's like this is positional sense and him understanding the flow of the game, understand the danger, and understanding where he needs to be at specific moments, at specific times of the game. And he's like, you look at him, you're like, why are you here compared to here? Why did you not engage when you should have and kept dropping back. Like certain things like that is like why are you like
Mm.
I remember like last year why did you like literally pull down Luke Shaw when he was going for a
Yeah.
header? Why did you
Yeah,
do that? you know?
let's not go there, Yasin, man. Let's not go there at all.
Yeah,
Let's
yeah,
not go there, man. Who else? Okay, so I'll just have a look at the Lindelof. So Queen Lizzie text, so shout out to Sudan's top general, man. You all should have gone for Bruno G. Let's not talk. We're not going to talk about United's transfer dealings. That's for Monday, where a rant will be incoming, man. Bai is coming into a new level personally. He had a very good game. I saw that game against. I know he missed the penalty against Ivory Coast against Egypt, but quite
yeah.
frankly, he kept Ivory Coast in the game.
He was
He had a phenomenal defensive game, and as you saw again that recovery pace, he like pocketed Salah completely as he's done before in the league. But he's not a penalty taker, understandably so, because he's a defender. So I don't
well. I mean,
expect
he
my
did a no
defender to
look. He
go
did a
on.
no look penalty. So I mean, I don't know. I mean, I
Yeah,
love Bayou. Bayou is just so funny.
yeah.
He's
I
just a
don't,
funny
I don't rate my defenders on whether they can take penalties or not. I rate them on whether they can defend or not. So
no,
that
absolutely.
and Ronaldo, if he comes back to Ronaldo, be the ones that we're doing him. EFC's Lindelof is more reliable, to be honest. Sudan says Varane is trash. Take it for it's from Madrid fan PNP merchant. Okay, Bayern's going more defensively aware. It's going to go. I will start Maguire, who's obviously trolling. Says S. Is enough. My wife says buy Lindelof and Maguire is my pick to partner Varane. Okay. Raz says Varane, Lindelof, Varane by most likely won't be considered partnership because of Bay's injury record. Also, Bay might be feeling trauma emotion because of that penalty miss for his country. 5-0 to Liverpool and lost 6-1 to Spurs. And shout out to Ilya, man. Viva Ronaldo. As long as I don't agenda except Varane, I think United need a new centre to play of Raphael, a new DM of Castle and type. You're not wrong. We need all those things, but unfortunately, we won't get them. Those are great ideas, but we're Manchester United, and we're not going to sign anybody. Certainly January, and certainly the summer is going to be interesting.
Hey,
Go on,
Redo,
man.
just a side thing. This has nothing to do with United, but it looks like Frank Lampard is going to be potentially the new Everton manager, reported by Fabrizio Romano.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
wow, wow.
yeah,
See, what I would say is Everton Football Club were a joke, man.
yeah,
Like a lot of
yeah.
people, like whatever you say about United money spent, actually, Everton have actually spent not that much less money than United, to be honest. So you can say United haven't spent them on, but at least United, with the money they've spent, have at least been able to get at least top four football, regular Champions League, at least. I'm not saying that's good enough, but at least they do that. Everton have not actually have spent are probably the top 5 spenders in the league. Probably got City, Chelsea, United, Everton, and Arsenal, or maybe Villa, possibly. Everton has spent a lot of money, and for Everton, despite the money that they've spent, to be battling relegation, for me,
Yeah.
that's worse than United's
I
situation.
mean, if you look at their midfield, man, I would. What would I do? I would do anything for Decore and
Mm,
Allen.
mm,
Imagine we had those two guys in our
yeah.
midfield, man.
Oh
Wow.
yeah, the Everton midfield is way better than ours. Even in
Yes.
their football, Luca Digne, like they had quality players. So I don't get it. Let's quickly
I
go
really don't.
into the like right back. Sudan Sub General saying Dalot's been good lately. In the Ragnick system, Ragnick way, are we saying that Dalot is officially like first choice over Wan-Bissaka now?
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
I mean like we all know what the problem with Aaron Bissaka is. He just in terms of a footballer, he's just not a good footballer. He's a
Mm,
good defender,
mm,
but on the ball, I mean, it's like it's
mm.
sometimes it's hard to watch. I mean, and I'm a person that's a big fan of Aaron Bissaka, but I just in terms of the modern football, especially when we have Jermaine and I would be when we were supposed to have a lot of possession amongst like 75% of the team in the league. I mean, Wan Saka on the ball is just not great.
No. No, and I think that going forward, I think it is going to be done. Even though I think we should still get a right back, but
Yep.
given the amount of people leaving, it's probably not going to be a priority in the summer when we look at. But we'll talk a bit more about that on the transfer window. Um, Ilya says, "Sell Harry, Trash Guy, Victoria, Secret Loft, Joni Esther, McDead, Pog Virus, Mata Matic, only Van der Prissen." Fair enough, Ilya. Fair enough.
And
Again, my opinion sounds crazy, but Alman Basaka over Dalot. Okay, that's interesting, Mo. I'm
but
not
it's
sure,
like,
but
why
go on,
though?
Yassi.
I just like I understand this, but it's like I really thought about this and
Mm,
looked at the pros and cons of both. Though everybody says a 1v1, absolutely brilliant defensively. Other than that, even defensively, he is suspect in terms of his positional sense. Like
mm,
Elmo Basek's positional sense is not the greatest. At
mm,
times, he gets under the crosses.
mm.
Like going back to the Leipzig game, like we know what happened with Angelino,
Yeah, I remember that.
completely.
Yeah.
So it's like 1v1, and especially on the wing, yeah, he's good. But
Mm,
other than that, there's nothing else there. Dalot,
mm.
yes, he's I don't in terms of defending, he needs to improve. But I can see Dalot improving defensively more than I see Anwar Pasaka improving offensively.
Fair enough. Let's look at left back. Let's move on swiftly. Left back, Teles or Shaw. It's weird because last season I would have definitely said, I'd have definitely said Shaw without a doubt. It was almost like, as Jaworski said, Shawberto Carlos. He was that good, and he scored a goal in the Euro final against Italy, a very good goal. I don't know what's happened to Shaw this season. It's not like he's been injured massively, but he's just not been good. And Telles has surpassed him. I'm not saying Telles has been massively better, but again, in Ragnick's system, I guess you go Telles slightly over. But I mean, I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you. My general feeling is like Luke Shaw is a better left back, but
Mm,
the problem I have with Luke Shaw is mentality. I think that's his biggest problem.
mm,
Mentally, it's it, and this is the thing that really annoys me about Luke Shaw is like, how can you have such a brilliant season last season? Absolutely, like there was literally no argument that he was the best left back last
yeah,
season in the league.
yeah,
To now being nowhere to be seen, and I think that literally just comes down to mentality. Like literally, it's a mentality of just because you did it this one season, you got to continue it,
yeah.
and hence why I remember there was I think the game against Burnley, phenomenal,
Mm,
absolutely phenomenal.
mm,
Then he played the game afterwards. I think it was like the Wolves game. He was
mm,
horrendous,
mm,
and so I don't know what's going on with Luke Shaw, and
mm,
unfortunately, I feel like there's just too many. There just could be some. You can for Luke Shaw, how many chances will he be given till like,
mm,
it's too many chances, and I
mm.
think he's just coming down to like his last couple of chances. Um, so hence why I will play Tellis because I understand Tellis is not the best defensively, but I know what I'm getting with Tellis compared to Luke Shaw because I don't know what I'm getting with him.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Unfortunately, inconsistency of Luke Shaw reigns has come again. So moving forward, so our midfield, obviously, this is best 11. So this does include, at least for now, Paul Pogba, though he's injured. Um, so midfield, obviously, we have Matic, Pogba, Van der Beek, Fred, and Scott McTominay. Um, Given that I mean, Matic is would be ideal, but the reality of Matic is I love Matic, but at the end of the day, we can't rely on. He's like if you're going to talk about reliability, you can't rely on Matic because he's not available for all the time because he can't play, especially in that role. And sometimes he's actually had really really bad games, like really bad. So if we're going to play with two midfielders, I would say the best pairing would be Van der Beek and Pogba. And why I say that is because I think that, even though Van der Beek is not a DM, he's not. I think that Van der Beek can do, because we play McFred, we play McTominay and Pogba together. But the thing is, I believe that Van der Beek can do what McTominay does, if not better, given the opportunity. Now, he's not going to, because they're not going to pick him for some reason. But from what I've seen, the glimpse I've seen from Van der Beek, he can do what McTominay's done, but better. And he's a better, for me, he's a better passer of the ball than McTominay is. McTominay, for me, has only been good in the midfield when he's played in the cam role. So when he's played in Bruno's position as a number 8 going forward, he's been good. Fred, not so much as an 8, but more as a pressing midfielder, sure. But McTominay, if McTominay's in the cam role, then sure, fine, keep him in. But in terms of his ability to read the game in this area, as well as pass well and bring people in, he's not that dude. I mean, I don't know. What do you think, Yassir?
I mean, the thing with Van der Beek is that he's leaving. From what I'm seeing reports on Twitter, looks like he's leaving. So,
yes, he's not going to be in this. So I guess you can include Van der Beek out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, for me, I don't know. I
okay. Well, so does
no
Pogba, does Pogba come into here?
Yes and no. Because at one point I'm like, of course he does. That's crazy not to. But then it's like we just don't have the. I've said this multiple times. We just don't have the personnel for it to work. Because you want Pogba to dictate play, to be on the ball, to push up forward, and the position we've been playing him, especially when he's playing the midfield, is too deep. We don't, a lot of times, sometimes you even have to cover for whoever is playing next to him, rather be for example, I guess the Leicester game. That's one of the biggest problems we have with Leicester. We played Bruno, Matic, and Pogba, all in the 3, but Matic and Pogba just couldn't deal with the transition of Leicester City. They just couldn't. So for me, I see, that's the thing.
There's an argument that people might that Bruno should be dropped.
I mean, yeah. I mean, fair enough. So if in a weird, I guess I think I do agree in that sentiment. I really do believe that with the players we have, it's almost impossible to play with Pogba and Bruno in the same team. I think it is. At
least Bruno in the cam role. If Bruno actually goes back to being a midfielder, a central midfielder, because at times in the games when Bruno dropped deep, it actually helped the midfield quite a bit.
Absolutely.
So if Pogba was here and Bruno was here, then maybe.
But we would never try that. Yeah. I was literally while I was driving today, I was driving to work. I was thinking about why in the world does Man United never try to play Pogba further forward and drop Bruno into an 8. I was literally thinking about that. So I think if you do that, then yes, it can definitely work, because you can play, say, a Bruno and a McTominay, a Bruno and a Matic, maybe a Bruno Fred, but I don't like Fred further deep. I just don't trust Fred deep in that role. I just don't. With a bad touch, and he just the way he just get bodied, and he just I don't like. I'd rather have McTominay deeper than Fred. So yeah, McTominay and Bruno deeper. Bruno more of an 8.
So would you say that the holding should be McTominay and Bruno, and then Pogba in the cam role? Is that what you think is the best?
I think that will work so much better, because it will you'll have Bruno deeper to him to literally dictate the play and give the ball, and and then you have Pogba as a free warmer, where he can roam everywhere. I just because from I mean, we would never happen because our
Well,
club is
this is
very.
just what we think the best formation and lineup should be. So it might not happen, but you never know. You never know, especially because we don't know how Ragnick is going to use Pogba. It might be the same old. It might be different. We don't know. Maybe he might instruct Paul Pogba to play in this role. We don't know yet until Pogba becomes available, at least for that next couple of some months or so. So I guess we'll see.
For
Go
me,
on, yeah, go on, you say.
yeah, yeah. No, no. What I was gonna say is, for me, that is perfect. The play like that is perfect, and so you can have, and then you can have Pogba. Then he can literally drop deep if he has to, but then it will be more of a three.
Mm,
That you will have more of a three, but when we play Bruno as a 10, then we play more of a two midfielder, and Bruno
mm,
plays more as like a number 10 slash false nine,
mm,
and I just don't the dynamic of it just doesn't work, and
mm,
I want Ragnick to try that when Pogba
mm,
comes back, but we
mm.
shall see.
We'll see. Right, we're almost done here. I'm gonna have to bounce it in a bit, but I'm just gonna quickly get some look at getting some comments again. Um, so to look at Mendy wing back, who isn't the most technical, can be one of the best, but takes a great ball and progressive see, but Alaba Ramos, United don't have that to make Amber work, and that's fair. As
Fernandes
Ronaldo,
is a better player on the ball than Wan-Bissaka.
that's true. Ronaldo will carry United on his back to the Conference League.
Okay.
Okay. Ilya Bisak is good defender, but attack is crap. And those things. Most of Sean Maguire will eat the yours. What about? I don't know. I don't know. Science, everyone was good last season. So a certain Portuguese underwear model came into the squad and ruined it. Greenwood, Shaw, Maguire, Bruno, Cavani all gotten worse. I don't know whether you can blame Ronaldo's signing on Maguire being worse, or any of the defense, to be honest. The forwards, maybe you can make an argument for lack of game time. But also, passing and selfish ability is why I don't know. Greenwood needs to improve his dribbling and passing, and needs to be less selfish. But he also, to be fair to Greenwood, needs to actually be played in position. He is a number 9, not a winger. So it is what it is. Matic can only can't play 9 minutes, let alone 2 games a week. If he would be in. Yeah, I absolutely agree. Prime Matic goes into this team no problem.
Without a doubt.
But we don't have Prime Matic.
That was our best midfield was Pogba, Matic, Bruno. That was the best midfield, but Matic just couldn't do it anymore.
Everyone wanted VDP, but Van Nistelrooy to United. Ollie ruined him. I don't understand it. But the thing is, people say Ollie ruined him, but the same is happening under Ragnick. So there must be something going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
But then Red Devil, I don't think it's a surprise because the way Van der Beek plays, you would never fit a Ragnick or Ollie like quote unquote system, because you look at Ragnick and Ollie, they prefer more of a strong physical type of midfielders, where Van der Beek is a technical, structural, type of midfielder, and for example, I just feel like he just came to the wrong club. If he would have went to Man City, he would have been a brilliant player. I'm not gonna lie.
No, I don't disagree. A 2 out of 10 sales and 70 goals, contribution to 21 starts, and that is fair. Shout out to Romelu Lukaku. It's gonna happen. McTominay has been playing at CDM and Fred and Bruno as these Pogba will replace Fred. Yeah, I suspect what's going to happen is that Fred will drop to the bench, which I don't necessarily agree with if we're trying to press teams. Because I think Fred is even a better presser than Pogba is, to be honest. But I suspect he will go with McTominay and Pogba and Bruno. But hopefully, if he's going to play this free, Bruno drops deep and Pogba is the one that goes forward and not the other way around. But they've got to be disciplined. And what usually ends up happening is that McTominay is the one that has to hold the midfield by himself, and Bruno and Pogba just go walkies. So that's what shouldn't happen. It's O2 for me. I've got to go. Take care, Rasmus, man. Take care, bro. Hopefully you're the best, man. Take care of yourself, buddy. Right. Just as we round things off, the front three. we're obviously playing with wingers. The right wing and side, I think, has been the biggest debate. Really, it's basically between Greenwood and Sancho.
Here's the thing. On the left wing, you have Elanga has been playing there a lot, but
Yeah,
I assume Rashford is going to basically come back. So is this I just assume that
uh,
Rashford plays in on the left wing.
do you put like if everyone's fit tomorrow, do you put Rashford in over Elanga though? That's the question. For me, you don't put Rashford in over Elanga. Rashford you bring off the bench right now anyway.
I mean, fair enough. I mean, fair enough. I don't know. I just feel like yes and no because
Mm,
I mean, I mean, on form, yeah, there it really is not a lot of argument for
mm,
Rashford over Elanga. There isn't. I mean, even though I don't think Elanga has played well the last game. I don't think he
mm,
played that well against West Ham. But it just, I don't know. For me,
mm,
I really wish Martial was here because for me, ideally, it
mm,
would have been Martial on the left,
mm,
Sancho on the right, and you would have had Ronaldo up top. And
mm,
that would work perfectly because Ronaldo, Martial, and Sancho are the type of players that they like to create things for other players. Especially
mm,
when Martial was playing as a nine, he dropped in deeper to create space for Greenwood and Rashford to cut in. That's why that front three worked so well.
mm,
But then problem having Alanga or Rashford on the left and having Greenwood on the right is
mm,
because they're too selfish.
mm.
And you know what I mean, and then it just doesn't play. Then Ronaldo's
I mean,
kind of get lost.
Rashford is selfish as well. You can make
Yeah,
a
yeah,
pick a cake.
yeah, yeah. So with
Um,
what like I said, like if you have Rashford on the left and Greenwood on the right, is problematic for the striker because the
mm.
striker just you might as well just take the
I
striker and then
mean,
go home. You know,
I
it's
would
no
love it if it
point.
was Martial, but obviously Martial's gone to Sevilla. But with the
So
options that we have,
I don't mind
uh,
Elanga. I don't mind Elanga on the left,
mm,
but generally I would have had Rashford on the left and had
mm,
Sancho on the right.
mm,
And I feel like that would have just give us a better dynamic.
mm.
Because it would have had, um,
Or do you
you know,
even play, or does even because sometimes when it comes on, even Cavani comes off the left.
yeah,
Is
you know,
that is
and
that?
also one thing I realized about Rashford is Rashford plays so much differently on the left than he does on the right. It
Mm,
seems like on the left he's more of a he plays he plays to shoot first, you know. But
yeah,
on the right, it seems like he creates a lot more. He's more of a creative player on the right because he's cut it into. I think he's generally right-footed. So
Yassi, you can't be worse on the ball than Mendy, says Sudan's top general. All
oh,
clubs buying players, United playing winter dream. Bro, we're going to talk about that on Monday, Ilya. Stay tuned in for that. He says Elanga, Ronaldo,
no,
Greenwood.
I
Um,
won't play with Greenwood on the. I want people to stop playing Greenwood on the wings. Like
I
he's
do
not a
too.
winger. He's not a winger.
I would prefer Sancho,
Yeah,
but I just don't feel that Sancho's really taking his opportunity yet. He played a bit more under his Wagner, but I don't know. Maybe he just needs time to adapt. But
yeah. He
right now,
also I mean, he also like wasn't playing the last game because his aunt passed away. He
yes,
was
of course, yeah,
so no. Ideally, I want because the thing is, Greenwood on the right, it doesn't work, guys. It really
yeah,
doesn't.
I
It
agree.
really doesn't.
He's a good. If he was a bit more, but I mean, at the end, he's still young. He's still a kid, but it's not his position.
He's a striker.
I'd almost prefer Ahmad on the right, to be honest.
Yeah,
So Ahmad has obviously gone on loan, so but unfortunately, just Jadon Sancho just hasn't made that wing position, his own yet. He just hasn't. So we'll have to put Greenwood on the right. Now, like I said, I'm content. If it's not Alanga, I'm content putting Cavani on the left because Cavani has come on from the left before and almost helped Ronaldo, as it were. If people don't think that, in fact, you know what? I'm going to put Cavani because Cavani has to be in this team. I'm not accepting Cavani not being in this team. If Ronaldo has to be in this team, because Cavani's work rate is just second to none.
Would you play Cavani as a striker and put Ronaldo on the left?
I don't even think Ronaldo really. I mean, he has played on the left for us at times, but this season, I just think that he's been more effective his presence in the box or around that than really off the left, in my personal opinion. I mean, I don't know what you think.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe because Ronaldo has played in that position before. I know he's 36 years old. He just doesn't have the legs for it. I just with Ronaldo as well. Watching him for United, sometimes you feel like when he plays as a striker, he's more isolated and more idle. Where if he's coming off on the left or so, he's coming into the box, and in that sense, he could be more effective. Where like Cavani he's a striker who always played as a striker.
Well, I mean, this formation, almost leads itself to almost like a 4-2-4 when we're usually chasing a game, where basically you end up having like Pogba probably ends up actually going to the left, for example, and you have Cavani and Ronaldo both in the box and Greenwood on the right. Which is probably what this formation would end up being, given that we'd be chasing games and stuff and pressing.
But problem is, it's like, okay, if you're gonna play Ronaldo and Cavani, I don't know how you can play Greenwood then. Because like the ball goes to the right, Cavani and Ronaldo just gonna stare at Greenwood, and he's gonna shoot. That's what he's gonna do. So. I just feel like as much as I understand like Sancho hasn't taken his time into to United, he's such a crucial player, man. Like in terms of balance of the team, you have Pogba for Bruno, then you have the goal scorers of Cavani and Ronaldo. And you just need a creative player on the wing.
Yeah, let's put Sancho in here, man. I know he's not been great, but in order for this to work, you're gonna have to have Jaden, man. You're gonna have to have Jaden. Although, there's an argument that people will have where Cristiano Ronaldo should be dropped.
Yeah.
There is an argument, and I don't. And the thing is, I'm sympathetic to the argument. To be honest, I am sympathetic to the argument that Ronaldo should at times be dropped, and Ragnick has dropped him at times. However, the thing is, though, is that like the thing with Ronaldo is that like he can come clutch, and he comes clutch very often. And the reality is that if we hadn't signed Ronaldo, given how injury prone Cavani is, how out of form Rashford is, who's actually scoring United's goals? He is our top goal scorer right now through no fault of his own. So you take out Cavani if he gets injured. Martial's obviously not happy at the club. Rashford is poor. So you're left with Sancho, Greenwood, and Ronaldo. Sancho's form has not been great, and Greenwood maybe could get more goals if he played number 9. You don't know, but Ronaldo has been responsible for most of our goal return this season, and essentially keeping us in the Champions League. He's got to play here.
No, absolutely. I mean, he's Ronaldo, man. I mean, as Man United, we have to play Ronaldo. You just have to. It just. I understand. I understand the argument. I really, really do. But I'd rather have Ragnick start with Ronaldo than for Ronaldo to come off the bench. And so I want people to think about it that way as well.
Rashford, Cavani, Greenwood, Mr. Las Vegas on the bench. So a lot of Ronaldo should be dropped. Ronaldo's been dropping deep and getting all in the build-up. I think Rashford will be starting on the left, and that's fair. Rashford needs to be in the bench. I just agree. I mean, I do think that Rashford needs to be on the bench just purely for the fact that we need to give opportunities to other players. Like, I don't believe in playing players into form. If a player has had maybe like free game rule is my thing. If you have 3 stinkers in a row, someone else should be given a chance. So that's why Elanga is in the starting lineup. That's why Maguire's been dropped. That's why I think one of McTominay and Fred should be dropped. If you're having multiple bad performances, you shouldn't be played into form. You should give another opportunity to another player, And then if the player can't use that as motivation for them to get better, to get into the team, then they should be sold. Simple as that.
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a big, as you know, I'm a big Rashford fan. So, I mean, at this, I feel like this is going to do Rashford a lot of good. You know, I mean, he did score the winner. I guess West Ham, and I mean, the best version of Rashford most likely starts. But then the problem we have is you look at this team, you're like, it's just the imbalance of it. You like, we have Cavani on the left,
Mm.
and then so you have, and it's like,
I put Cavani there a lot of time because I also think that Cavani is also quite a hard worker, and
yeah,
he also tracks back quite a bit. The problem I have is I remember one game. I think it was against I can't remember, it was against in the Champions League, but you were
was it
literally seeing it.
Atalanta?
Yeah, I think so. And you saw Ronaldo and Cavani when on the field track back further than Rashford and Greenwood, and it was like these guys are in their mid 30s, yet they're fit enough to track back and help defend, and Rashford and Greenwood can't, and that's why for me, putting him on the left, Sancho is at least good tracking back. My issue with Greenwood and Rashford is that like they're just not, they're selfish and they don't track back, and I hate that.
Yeah, I
Yes, they
think
can score amazing goals, but like for me, um, they need to do better in that department. And at least
100%.
Cavani, yes, Cavani's not going to give tons of assists on the left, but he'll put in the defensive work to help Tellers, and he'll recover the ball up the field quite quickly, and he'll try and bring in the other players into play. Rashford doesn't really link players into play. He doesn't track back, and he doesn't pass.
Yeah,
I could give Greenwood an excuse now because he's still young, and he's still, this is probably his, second, proper breakout season. I can't give any excuses to Rashford anymore.
absolutely, absolutely.
Ilya says, I don't like Sanchez, another English hype player. Eddie shouts Eddie's football waffle. Big up Red Devil and all that chat. I'm dropping a like. Thank you very much. And check out his channel, guys. Ilya, he's German hype, not English. Oh, right. Yep. That's related to Sancho. Should have been Martial, Ronaldo, Sancho.
Yes,
I think that should have been exactly. I agree with that. On peak form, it should be Martial, Sancho, and Ronaldo. You can make it up for Cavani, but Martial's obviously no longer here, and Sancho's not been great.
I mean, you look at those three. Is this the balance? Is this the balance?
Ooh,
I
EFAC
don't.
says sorry.
Go ahead.
EFAC says Donny to Crystal Palace is done. Oh, a bit of
Yeah, yeah,
breaking
it's
news.
pretty much. It's pretty
Let
much done.
me. Did Fabrizio? Let me.
Yeah, looks like it. I'm so happy for Donny. I can't wait to watch Crystal Palace, man.
I've checked Fabrizio's. Is it on it? I've
No,
looked
no,
at.
Fabrizio didn't report it, but it looks like it's slowly breaking. A
Okay.
lot of different people are breaking it. I think
Okay.
the guy it goes John Seeger. Is that his name?
Mhm.
The respective journalist said that it's pretty much like 90% done or something like that.
Mm.
So yeah, it's. I mean, all the best to Donny, man.
Mm.
Because like the thing with Donny Van de Beek is I really, I mean, like the argument people have is, oh, he's not strong enough, or he's not fit enough, or physical enough for the league, or he's just not good enough. But at the
Mm.
same time, Man United
Mm.
gave pretty much Andres Pereira a
Mm.
chance to play for
Mm.
Man United. I remember when we played Andres Pereira as a six, we played him as a cam. I mean, we gave Andres Pereira an opportunity to
I know
succeed.
we've given more opportunities to like, so somehow United's bought, I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, because I don't understand how we gave Andres Pereira more opportunities than Donny van der Beek.
Yeah,
I don't really understand that. And I don't understand. Fair enough, he's gone to Palace, shout out, and I think Vieira will use him a lot. Um,
absolutely.
and
I mean,
maybe they can use him to sort of take points of rivals, but I mean, um, I just don't get it. And on top of that, like, it also leaves our midfield very, very exposed. We now only have four midfielders. We have Matic, we have Bruno, five. Matic, Bruno, McTominay, Fred, and Pogba. Pogba's out injured still, so we only have four. Matic can't play 90 minutes. So basically, until Pogba comes back, the midfield is de facto McTominay, Fred, and Bruno. That's it, with maybe a debut for Matic somewhere. When Pogba comes back, then we'll kind of see. But if
Hopefully,
McTominay or Fred get an injury, Fred doesn't usually get injured. If McTominay gets injured, what do?
hopefully we. Apparently, I'm hearing that he likes Hannibal Megri. I don't know how to say his last name, but Hannibal. But
Oh, Hannibal,
still,
yes,
yeah, but
yeah.
still, we're relying on. This is one thing I don't like. I don't like relying on youth, man. I like to play the youth. I like to bleed into youth, but I mean it. I mean, God forbid, it only takes a COVID outbreak to happen where we lose all our midfield.
Oh, no, this is what I'm saying. What EFAC says, we're only going to have 4 midfielders for the season, which is
Yeah,
dumb.
yeah,
Unless obviously, like I said, Pogba comes back with a bang and does something. We're relying again on the rest of the season on Pogba to do something.
yeah.
Um,
A guy
and
that's leaving on for free. So
and assuming that no other midfielder is going to get injured, which is a big assumption, or even not even injured, sometimes even red cards or suspensions. So I agree. Reno Rashford was selfish. The other source of Fabrizio. Obviously, they're talking about believes only picture. I'm trying to know if Ralph is a Glazer puppet. RDS. I don't think he's a Glazer puppet. I just think that much like with Antonio Conte at Spurs, it's very easy to promise something to someone to come, and it's a different sort to deliver it. Spurs promised Conte they'd be backed in January, and last I checked, they haven't signed anybody. So you can say stuff to convince them to come, but doing it is another matter. That's what United have been doing all the time. Yes, Pogba, we're going to sign you a title-winning side, and that didn't happen. So it just is what it is.
For the life of me, I just cannot understand. For as much as people want to abuse and malign Pogba about how he's inconsistent, Man United has refused to surround him with the players, especially in midfield. Just for whatever reason, we just didn't decide not to do it.
And I don't, and to this day, I still don't get it. I still don't get it. Last comment before we bounce. It's not like we were relying on deep don't want to be Pogba's into the moments and Deep's true. I mean, that is true, but I just think it's the fact that the option is still there though. And Donny van de Beek did come on, I bet, made a few cameos. The issue is that things are unpredictable. Is Pogba definitely going to be back soon? Yes, there's a very big difference between having an option there and there being no option, and then suddenly in the middle of a game you get an injury, like say, I don't know, McTominay's injured. So McTominay's injured. Let's say, for example, when the league starts, McTominay picks up an injury, and he has picked up injuries, niggles before, or gets a straight red card, banned for 3 games. We're effectively saying that for the Champions League, which is going to resume soon, the FA Cup, and the Premier League, that Matic, Fred, and Bruno would be the midfield, and they'd have to play all 90 minutes. So all it takes is a loss of one midfielder, and we're relying on only those 3 midfielders to play Premier League football, FA Cup football, and Champions League football. That's insane.
Yeah, I mean, the weirdest.
We're gonna have to play Phil Jones at CDM, or something like that.
Lindelof or someone, and it's
or an academy player. We might have to, bring back try, as you said, Hannibal, maybe, or maybe even call Garner, but possibly it'll probably be Hannibal, won't it?
That that is literally I think that's what we're relying on Garner. We're relying on Garner. I mean, I don't know. This club makes no sense to me. I mean, the weirdest thing that happened under Raphael is when Bruno Fernandes got suspended. Majority of us assumed that Donny van de Beek would start, and he didn't. I think he played a 4-2-2-2, and he played Greenwood and Rashford as the 2 number 10s, and I don't know, Red Devil, this club, man, is that it's like the logic behind this club and the way we operate. it
It
gets
doesn't
you
make
so
sense.
depressed because it doesn't make sense. It gets you depressed because you're like, what are you guys doing? And at this moment, we're at times I feel like we're as fans, we're literally slowly but surely just losing
Mm,
our mind with this
mm,
football clubs because our football club doesn't do anything that makes any sense. It's like a
mm,
wind up. This is do
mm,
things just to wind us up. You know what, guys? We're gonna give you guys 4 midfields for the rest of the season. How about that? And
mm.
we're like, how can we go on? And everyone just aiming all that stuff like, and they're like, just and the Glazers are just chilling in Florida, out on the beach, and it's like literally just laughing at us. I feel like at times that's what the Glazers they just wind us up, and that's their form of entertainment. But I don't know.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, bro. Like I said, we're gonna talk about it on the show on Monday. So stay tuned for that, guys. The deadline transfer, man. It's gonna be an interesting rant from a lot of people, guys. It's gonna be an interesting rant.
Yeah,
Last few comments. Big up, Modest. Much, and Yasin. Much love to you both. Shout out to you,
absolutely,
Mo,
man.
as well.
Absolutely.
SMB, man. Thank you for joining in the chat. We are just rounding up, though. The
Yeah,
CSDS has got me hyped. Yes. Shout out
yeah.
to Liverpool, man. I mean, geez,
Uh,
man. Liverpool,
hey,
like,
can I say something
go on.
before we leave?
Yeah, go on, man.
I was up like so last night. I was at work. So and for the UK and everyone, it was pretty late. And I saw this Luis Diaz break, and I
Mm,
seen I was on Twitter and I went into like Twitter space. They were talking about it. I was fuming. Like
mm,
I woke up today still fuming because
mm,
I'm just gonna say this. I don't care what any of Man United PR come out with, all the nonsense they come out. I don't care about that. No
mm,
one can tell me that Man United has any right not to do any business this transfer window when our two rivals that are
mm.
miles ahead of us are doing transfers. That's just all I'm gonna say. There is no PR, no excuse that can justify that.
I agree, Yasir, man. I agree, and that's why, like, it's difficult, man, watching United these days. It's really at the end of the day, it's the hope that kills you. It's the hope
Yeah,
that kills you. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned. I'll be on Have Hope's channel in a bit as well for our weekly Friday night Q&A. Shout out to Yassi as well. Thank you for coming on, bro. And make sure you check out his channel as well, guys. Subscribe to his new channel, guys. Please give Yassi a lot of your support. Have a nice day, everyone. And
absolutely.
cheers.
See you guys. All right, RDS, man. Thank you for having me on, man.